Welcome back to part 2 of my unique Toys Ordin review. We are on O-02 Alberich, which is their homage to Rippersnapper. This is the box it comes with, and then on the back you got a couple different configurations of things you can see become a hand, and he can be a robot guy, and he can be a swimmy sharky guy. What's an Alberich? Alberich. In the middle, High German Nibelungenlied. Alberich is a dwarf who guards the treasure of Nibelungen and is overcome by Siegfried. That's who he is. He's a dwarf guy, and on this, I don't know why they chose him for this, but he's a shark with legs and tiny T-Rex arms. That's not much more to say about that. I mean, just transforming into a shark is scary enough, but to a shark with legs, this is ridiculous. He's probably the second least normal of the three because, I mean, he's basically a land shark. So who thought about that? His head moves up and down like so, but not too far up because you can see the robot head. I've got a little Reprolabels sticker there, and his mouth does open, and it can move forward. And what's cool when it moves forward is that it has an extra piece of plastic in there to keep it looking like it's one solid piece while giving it movement like this. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I've got the stickers on him, so it looks like he's drooling, which is pretty rad. He does come with guns. He has tiny arms, and they move around. And then he has an extra joint here, and that's it for that. And then the legs down here are actually his robot arms, so they have tons of articulation. And for the most part, it does support his weight. He stands just fine like this. And that's pretty much all I have to say. He does have a lot of accent stickers around the back here and on the front, and you can see pretty much all of these in robot mode still. And again, most of these are just here to break up solid chunks of plastic. In his case, it's a lot of white and gray plastic. So it's nice that he has them. It makes him look a lot less boring. But, I mean, come on, a shark with legs and arms doesn't look boring anyway. So let's go ahead and transform him into his robot mode. Step 1, take guns out of fin. You did it. Good job. Next what we're going to do is actually unpeg his legs here, because they're going to kind of come up and around this way to become his arms, and this is his whole lower half. The chest actually splits back, and then the sides of the arms actually come in to fill in the gaps, and they snap right in. We can twist his arms around, and then his arm opens up, his whole foot goes back, and then it brings out his hand naturally, just moving it down, which is nice because otherwise there's no like finger hold to get that out there. Oh, I probably should have unpegged his feet. His long piece of plastic combines the tail to the top, and it's pretty thin. I'm a little scared it's gonna break. It's a little flexible, which is kind of nice, but it does fold in on itself like this. And next we have his legs. Let's go ahead and do that. So this works pretty much exactly like the Combiner Wars figures works, but this came out before Combiner Wars, so I feel like Hasbro kind of copied these guys. So this whole thing opens up, and then the whole thing kind of accordions out, and then it closes back in, and there's a peg now there, and there's a hole on the inside, and you just make sure they close up together, and then that keeps everything nice and firm. And then you got his legs. His feet come out, and then he does have some heel spurs that come out to give him stability. Now these heel spurs are awful. Since they come out from the top instead of from under, they tend to, as you use it, to kind of start pointing up this way, which means that they don't work anymore. So that sucks. This is Rippersnapper, or Alberich, and I love him. That's it. I love him. He's hard not to love. He's essentially a guy with an entire shark on his back, and how cool is that? Standard articulation, these guys are pretty much all the same. Head, arm, upper bicep, elbow, hand, no hand. Today I learned. No waist, but crotch. He got the crotch movement. Leg forward, leg kind of back, which you have to move to the side because of his tail. But this guy's actually got ankle tilt. So you can get him out pretty far. still touching the ground. That's it. That's his feet still touching the ground. I could never do that. His guns that he comes with fit in his hands. His face looks really good. His stickers are mostly there just to break up the monotony of solid plastic. So down here in the legs, he has a Decepticon logo on his chest, which is neat. On his arms, these are his identifying ones where he has the kanji on this side, and he has his O-02 on that shoulder. His legs, that's where his tattoo is that has the double-headed dragon with the Decepticon logo. These back arms, they don't do anything. They're just here. They're just there. You can kind of position them how you want, but they don't really go anywhere, which kind of sucks. It's Rippersnapper in robot mode. I love him. He's great. Don't like him as much as Troll, but I feel like if you're going to go for the whole thing, you gotta get him. He was one of the ones I owned as a kid. I didn't have the whole set of Abominus as a kid, but I had this one, and I had the main one. And I thought I had Blot, but I ended up having buying one of those Sparkers that kind of looks like him. He's like a purple with wings. I don't know. I was a kid. I was dumb. Who knows? I'm still dumb. I'm just not a kid. So this guy becomes an arm, and let's go ahead and get him into his arm mode. Step 1, take guns off. It's always step 1. Turn his head around and push it down and put this back in. We're gonna put away the hands. Up here, there's nothing really to do with these other than try to get them out of the way as best you can, which kind of sucks. I wish there was a way it like pegged in or snapped in so I know I had it right so it wouldn't flop around. Oh, let's go ahead and close up the feet. Feet close up. Most combiners, Hasbro, other third parties, they essentially use the legs as the combiner joint for the arm, which is kind of innovative. When I first saw that, back in the day, 3-4 years ago, I was like, wow, that's cool. That's a good idea, because back in G1, they didn't have elbow joints. So I thought, man, using that as an elbow joint is genius. But these guys took it one step further. What they actually did is give you an actual pull-out combiner elbow. And what's neat about it is there's like 3 joints here. So it turns up here at this part, and it turns down here at this part. So it would be like if you could move this here and this independently, which is kind of a little bit too much movement, but it's cool that it has it. And it also does bend right there. So I like to have this as the forearm, so because it looks much better than this. And then he comes with his hand. Again, it's cool that he comes with a hand and not having to wait for like the final member of the team forever to have limbs. I've got my Troll here, as I would kind of put them here to try to figure out exactly how big I thought this guy would be. And this is how big, and this is pretty much how big he is. So he's a big boy. He's a big boy. And that's it. This is Alberich or Rippersnapper in combiner mode. I'm going to go ahead and put these guns back on his fins. I try to leave everything on the alt modes as I can, just so I don't lose them or have to put them away. This is the arm. It's rad because you've got a solid forearm with hand. Like, this doesn't look like it's part of anything but just being an arm, like a forearm. And then his upper arm is basically an entire shark. So I love it. It looks great. You can't argue with how great this looks. This looks fantastic. So yeah, this has been review 2 of 6. Next, we're going to go over Fenrir, and that'll be fun. So stay tuned, and thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. But thanks for watching. Bye.